Oh my goodness. Oh Lord. Jesus Christ. This don't even make sense. It's August in Arkansas. I mean, this was just fine though. This worked before. Like, I don't get it. I mean, like, this worked here. Man, it is 100 degrees in Arkansas right now, and I got a doggone jacket on with a sweater. Just because it worked then, don't mean it's gonna work now. You gotta be aware of the seasons. Because if you find yourself carrying the same thing that worked for you before in this last season, in the wrong season, you gonna burn up. This is another Sunday School with Pat. First though, I got to take this mess off. God, dog, this don't even make no sense. I can't even. Oh Lord. Now that's more like it. I got a story I want to talk to you today about 3 men, right? Samuel, Saul, and David. You got Samuel, who in the time he's a seer. You got Saul. Saul is just this kid who was out one day and he lost his daddy's ass. All right, so he lost his daddy's donkey. All right, we'll just put it like that. Then you got David. David is a shepherd, minding his own business. So we find ourselves in a space where Israel is begging God for a king. And God is like, yo, no, y'all don't really need a king. But Israel's like,
everybody else around us got a king. Why we can't have a king? We really, really want a king.
God is like, yo, I really don't want y'all to have a king. But since y'all keep asking me, I'm going to go ahead and give y'all a king. So Saul, one day, is in a space where he done lost his daddy's donkey, right? So Saul wants to go to the seer to find his daddy's donkey. Saul goes to Samuel. Saul was not expecting this, but Samuel anoints Saul to be king because God chose Saul to be the king that Israel didn't really need, but they wanted it. Saul is now the king. But Israel finds themselves in a situation where they're having to be in battles and they're having to be in wars. And God gives direct instruction and he's like, make sure that you kill off everything when I allow you to kill these people, right? But what does Saul do? Saul don't do what God said do. Saul feel like,
yo, I'm the king. I could kind of make decisions the way that I want to make decisions. And if I decide to bring something back, it shouldn't be that big of a deal.
There's a problem with that because God said, make sure that you kill off everything. So they find themselves in a situation of disobedience. God then let Samuel know that Saul been disobedient. And since he's been disobedient, God tells Samuel, I'm going to take my hand up off him. Yeah, I picked him to be king, but I don't want him to be king no more. Samuel then has to go to Saul to let him know, hey, bro, you made a mistake when you didn't obey God. So because you didn't obey God, God is now taking his hand off of you, and there should be a new king. This is where we introduce David to the story, because David happens to be the one that God chooses to be king. Over time, David realized that he's supposed to be king, but David knows that Saul was the one that was anointed by God to be the king because this is the story, right? We get into this situation where David is now doing a whole lot of great stuff for Israel. David holding Israel down, David holding Saul down, Saul having problems, David going to go play for him to clear his mind and help him out and do all of these different things. But Saul keep trying to kill David. So at this time, what ends up happening is they catch Saul slipping in this cave. And Saul actually ends up committing suicide because he's dealing with life without God's hand on him. However, David get a different story. David get this story and it says, the soldier that was on David's side killed Saul. David has a problem with this because Saul is God's anointed. So he thought. But there's a problem, see, because David wasn't at the meeting where Samuel told Saul that God had taken his hand off him. So Saul is no longer anointed. He's no longer has the favor of God to do the thing that he'd been doing, right? David is upset because he's touched his anointed. So what does David do? David goes and kills the man that lied about killing Saul because David is thinking that Saul is anointed. And David is thinking that this somehow is upsetting God. Now, why did I have all them clothes on in this 100-degree weather? It's because a lot of times in life, we stick to things and we continue to do things that once worked in the past. And even after it's shown you that it don't work no more, you continue to do it and you fight and you fight and you fight and you fight and you fight. And you continue to stay connected to certain places. You continue to stay connected to certain people. And that's a problem because the grace ain't there no more. That's why you losing. And if you continue to keep on the same thing in different seasons, you're going to always burn up.